What is sort of the kind of the yearly workflow of a Stephen Leahy? So right now you're finalizing a lot of things, getting ready, and obviously you've got a lot of things already done. Once it gets to be, April 15th, is this the time where you're just sleeping late, relaxing, you're on a beach somewhere?
Yes,
is that what it is?
Yes.
Eating hot dogs.
Joe knows he's got the Stephen can.
No, you're exactly right. He goes to sleep. It's like a groundhog thing. So April 15th, you go to sleep, but Steve still wears that same outfit.
You got to be ready.
Still wears the
You gotta
shirt
be
and
ready.
tie
Always
and
wear
the
the
fedora.
Hey, you got to look like a tax attorney.
Yes. All year long, that's all he does is look like a tax attorney.
So to answer your question correctly, the answer is, most people who come to see me, it's an ongoing involvement, because when you're dealing with the IRS, if you're behind in your tax return. So this is what I wanted to. We're coming to April 18th, because 18th is the date this year, and your taxes are due. If you haven't filed your tax return, you know that. Right, you haven't filed in a couple of years, and always when you hear about it, you want to turn off the radio, because I don't want to even think about that. I'll get to that. But here's my advice to people: if you haven't filed your tax return, or if you're thinking you shouldn't file your tax return, file it. Even if you owe the IRS money, file the return. And the reason is there are what they call, you've heard of statutes of limitations, right? How long they can come after you. If you do not file, that date never starts, never begins. So that means your IRS problem will never end. So you want to file even if you owe the IRS money, because then you have a definite date after which the IRS can't come after you anymore.
Wow, that's good advice, because I think people think, well, if you get past whatever that time period is, then that's the time period. But the clock doesn't start, right?
Doesn't start. So it's 10 years from the date of assessment, and if it never gets assessed, it never starts. And again, that's what people do. And of course, what will happen when people come to see me, oftentimes they haven't filed in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. 20 years. I've had people.
Yikes.
Yeah, and this is what really incapacitates them, right? Because they get paralyzed. Like, what do I do?
Right.
I haven't filed in 20 years. I mean, there's nothing I can do. And there is something you can do. Here, the good news is the IRS won't go back for 20 years. They call you in compliance if you just file the last 6 years of tax returns.
Oh, gotcha.
So now, if you have 6 years of tax returns that you haven't filed, the number you owe, and you're running your own business, probably going to be fairly large. Right, and you're going to owe a lot of interest. That's where the IRS is really going to hit you hard. Now that again, sometimes that paralyzes people. It's like, that number's so big, I can't even look at it. But there is a sum that you can't pay more than that. So it doesn't really matter. So whatever that number is, the average
person could owe like $50 million. It doesn't mean
you can't pay it.
Right, exactly.
So there's a number after which it doesn't matter what you owe anymore.